Hey guys, with just 8 days to go until the 2020 presidential election between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden is going to end, we're going to be taking a look at our new updated 2020 electoral map based on the latest polling averages out of each and every state on our electoral map. Before we get into that, make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. The link is at the very top of the description below. We're doing many events, competitions, and I believe giveaways on there as of right now. We also have a pretty cool mock government on there, so make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. Again, the link is at the very top of the description below, and in addition to that, I have also launched channel memberships on this channel. They're just 99 cents per month, and you can get access to some pretty sweet perks, so make sure you click on that blue join button if you are interested. It's located right next to the subscribe button. So taking a look at our electoral map, the first state, we're going to go in alphabetical order as we have done for months now at this point. So the state of Alabama, 18.3% in favor of Donald Trump, so that's going to be a solid Trump state. And we've done this for months at this point, and so this is the second last one that we'll ever be doing. I'll be doing one final 2020 electoral map just one day before the election on the 2nd of November. So 9 electoral votes for President Trump. The state of Alaska is improving for the current president. He leads by 6.1%. He led by around 4% just a week ago, so this is an improvement, but still a solid state in 2016 is now just plus 6.1% for the current president. The state of Arizona, 11 electoral votes. Right now, Biden leads by 3%. That's a little bit smaller than last time as well for Joe Biden. As you can see, the state of Arizona, Joe Biden's numbers are closing up a little bit with Trump's, but I still think that he is doing relatively well here. Again, this is on a state that Biden desperately needs, and this is on a state that Clinton won in 2016. So these numbers are all right for him. These 3 new polls right here, they are not too great of a side. This one was from August and this one from October, so really don't worry about it too much. But this poll right here does show that it is an even race in Arizona. I do think the race is going to tighten a little bit, but I think that with this state just generally moving to the left, as well as Biden's popularity here and the fact that Mark Kelly is doing very well in a Senate race here in Arizona, I do expect Arizona to still go to Joe Biden, but it's 3%, so we're going to put that into the Biden column for now. I don't expect Biden to lose his lead. He's been leading here for the entire election cycle, basically since it began in early March. I really don't expect Joe Biden to lose that edge that he has over the current president in Arizona. So following Arizona, we have the state of Arkansas. Trump leads by a margin of 19.6%, so Arkansas, again, is going to be a solid Trump state. The state of California, plus 28.9%. For Joe Biden, that gives him 66 electoral votes, including Arizona, so 55 and then 11. California, 55 electoral votes, very important to Joe Biden's victory. The state of Colorado, Biden plus 13.6%, so Joe Biden is actually leading over Trump by a larger margin in Colorado than New Mexico, which we'll talk about later in this video. So Colorado is a likely state right now. The state of Connecticut, Joe Biden leads by 25.8%. That's going to be a very solid state on the East Coast here. And then the state of Delaware, another northeastern state for Joe Biden, plus 25%. This is, of course, Joe Biden's home state. He served as a senator from the state of Delaware for over 3 decades, almost 4 decades. So definitely, he's going to do much better than Hillary Clinton. She won the state by around just 12% in 2016. The District of Columbia, Biden plus 79.2%, a district that has never voted for any party but the Democratic Party. So this is very, very liberal, the District of Columbia. The state of Florida, 29 electoral votes, Biden plus 2.4%. That's another lean state. And taking a look at the numbers here in Florida, Trump is doing better, but Biden's numbers, they are not falling. I think that as long as Biden can keep that 49% there, I think on election night, he will still have a very good chance at winning Florida. Some polls do put Trump up. It's mainly because of this Rasmussen reports poll that puts Trump plus 4. I honestly would not take this too seriously. Rasmussen is a very biased right-wing pollster. It's like Trafalgar Group, so I wouldn't take it too seriously. As YouGov still puts Biden plus 2% here. YouGov does tend to favor the right more than the left, so still, it is all right for Joe Biden in Florida, definitely closer than it was before, but still his numbers, I think, will hold up for him at the end here in the Sunshine State. And then next, we have the state of Georgia, another very, very close state. Biden leads by just 0.4%. Taking a look at the numbers here, the numbers here have gotten excruciatingly close. Biden's up at 47.6%, Trump at 47%. 0.3. YouGov says it's a tie here, and you have many other survey monkey polls which are just wasting space at this point in time. Let me just turn those all off. So you see that Trump +4 in Landmark Communications. That's one conducted on the 21st of October, and then Biden leads by 4 in a poll that was conducted just a little bit earlier. So Georgia, I think Trump will still win the state. I never really expected Biden to actually carry Georgia, but I think that he definitely has still a very good chance of flipping the state. But Trump, I think, does have the upper edge here. Georgia, again, has never gone to a Democrat since 1996. And then we have the state of Hawaii, where Biden leads by a full 31.1%. So it's going to be a very solid Democratic state. The state of Idaho, Trump +19.8%. So Trump at this point only has 22 electoral votes from 4 states. So that really isn't doing too well for President Trump, especially considering the fact that he won Arizona, Georgia, and Florida in 2016. So next we have the state of Illinois, Biden +16.2%. This state I think is going to be solid. It might not be the most solid of solid margins, but it's not going to be a likely state in my opinion. I think Illinois is a pretty Democratic state. The state of Indiana, Trump +10.1%. So still, numbers here for Donald Trump in Indiana are not good. I mean, it is only a likely margin at this point in time. So honestly, the numbers here are not good. I mean, this is literally half the margin that Trump saw over Clinton in 2016. The state of Iowa, Biden +1.2%. Yes, Joe Biden is still leading in the state of Iowa, 6 electoral votes, 1.2% in favor of the former vice president. Joe Biden is still doing well in Iowa. I think he has right now the largest lead he has ever had in the state. Keep in mind, this is a state that voted for President Trump by almost 10% in 2016 and is now still in the Biden column with just 1 day and 1 week to go until the election. And then we have the state of Kansas, where Trump leads by 10% flat. I mean, definitely an improvement for President Trump. It was a lean state last time, but still, it's Kansas. I mean, I didn't expect Kansas to be so close. I think this is a huge disappointment for the Republican Party, and I think it is definitely a sign of decline for the GOP, compared to 2016. The state of Kentucky, Trump +17.3%, barely a solid state. I think he's still going to overperform Mitch McConnell, but still, it's Kentucky, and it's only +17.3%, almost 30% in 2016. I think this is, again, a state in which Trump is going to win by a much smaller margin. The state of Louisiana will now be a solid state once again. President Trump's numbers have increased here in the South, so Louisiana will be a solid state for the first time in months here for the current president. The state of Maine at large, Biden +14.1%, so very close to being solid, but not quite there. The first district, obviously very solid. He leads by a margin of 25%, and then the second district of Maine, the latest poll, puts Biden up 4% in the crucial second district of Maine. This will be very important if the race gets very, very close. And then the state of Maryland, Biden +32% flat as well here, so a very solid state for the former vice president. The state of Massachusetts, Biden +38.6%. This is Elizabeth Warren's home state, in a state that is probably the most liberal state in the entire country, so almost 40% in favor of Joe Biden in the state of Massachusetts. Next, we have the state of Michigan, where Biden leads by 8%, 16 electoral votes. This is the first out of the key states for Joe Biden. This is really a state that he has to win this election. He leads by 8%, so things are looking good for the former vice president. Keep in mind, this is, again, a state that Clinton lost in 2016 by 0.2%, and this is the state of Michigan, a state that Biden is at 50% in, so I think he will carry Michigan just because he is at 50%, which is a big deal. Clinton was never at 50% here. So the state of Michigan is going to be in the Biden column. Next, we have the state of Minnesota, the neighboring state right here. This state is 10 electoral votes and another crucial state that Clinton barely won in 2016. He won this state by 1.5%. So this state has the longest Democratic voting streak. It was the only state that voted for Walter Mondale in 1984 that Ronald Reagan did not win. So Minnesota is going to be a likely Democratic state, plus I believe 8% as well, so a identical margin to Michigan at this point in time. Joe Biden, again, is also at 50% in the state of Minnesota as well. Following this, the state of Mississippi, Trump is at 50% here, so not 50%, but 15%. He leads by 16.6% in the state of Mississippi, so that is going to be another solid GOP state. The state of Missouri, Trump plus just 6.6%. I mean, this is definitely, worse than 2016. This was a solid state 4 years ago, and now Mississippi will be, or not Mississippi, Missouri will be joining the state of Alaska in the lean Trump column. The state of Montana, 3 electoral votes. Trump leads by 6.7%. That's going to be another lean state for Donald Trump. I mean, we have Montana, we have Missouri, and now we have Alaska as well. These 3 states, they are closer than ever, and these 3 states were all solid for President Trump 4 years ago. The state of Nebraska, the 2nd district, will be a Biden district as of right now. Biden plus 11.2%, so it's going to be likely for the former vice president. While the 3rd district, there's currently no data, but it's going to be solid for Trump. This is the most conservative district in the entire country. The 1st district, Trump plus just 2%, so it's going to be lean, while the at-large vote is also going to be lean, where Trump leads by 6.3%. So that is going to be 78 electoral votes at this point in time to 215 for Joe Biden. The state of Nevada, Joe Biden leads by 6.3% here. This is going to be a state that will also, I believe, go to Joe Biden. State that Clinton won by 2.4% 4 years ago. State that Trump was actually expected to win, but he did worse than expected here, and Clinton carried it. And this time around, it looks as if Biden is going to continue that Democratic voting streak in the state of Nevada, a state that he has just actually reached 50% in for the second time this entire election cycle. So numbers looking good for Joe Biden in Nevada. That puts him up at 221 electoral votes. The state of New Hampshire, Biden plus 11.8%. This is another close state from 2016. Clinton won this state by just 0.3%. This was the closest state that Clinton won, and I mean, now Biden plus 11.2%, that is significant. That is a huge margin for the former vice president. So Biden, of course, doing very, very well in the state of New Hampshire. The state of New Jersey is going to be solid. Biden plus 20.4%. The state of New Mexico, Biden plus just 11.7%. This is around 3% less than his margin over Trump just a week ago. However, New Mexico, there's no doubt that it's going to go to Joe Biden, but it has gotten just a teeny bit closer since the last time we take a look at our electoral map. And then the state of New York, Biden plus 31%, obviously a Biden state. The crucial state of North Carolina for Donald Trump, Biden can win this state. I think he will win this state actually, but Biden plus 2.5%. Again, the numbers are getting a little bit closer here in the state of North Carolina. I actually don't have North Carolina open here for some reason, but in the state of North Carolina, Biden plus 2.6%. He leads in most of the latest polls. Only a Trafalgar Group poll puts Trump ahead. This is more of a right-leaning pollster, so I wouldn't take them too seriously, but numbers are still in the positives for Joe Biden, a state that he's been leading in for the entire election cycle. So this is going to go to Joe Biden again. 15 electoral votes. That puts Joe Biden over 280, over 270. I believe he's over 270 with the state of New York. So, but he is now at 270 electoral votes. The state of North Dakota, Trump plus 19%. That's going to be solid. No question about that. The state of Ohio, Trump plus 1.5%. I want to just say right now, this is the only battleground state in which President Trump actually leads in. The state of Ohio, Trump plus 1.5. The numbers here have increased a little bit for the current president. He is doing better here in Ohio than he did just a month ago. A month ago, Biden was leading in many of the polls. The A+ rated pollsters put Biden up 1% in Ohio. So definitely this is a positive sign for Donald Trump, but still it's not. This is a state that he won by over 8% in 2016, and now it is in the tilt column for the current president. The state of Oklahoma, Trump plus 21.9%, so that's going to be solid once again, 7 electoral votes. The state of Oregon, Biden plus 19.9%, actually not a solid state for Clinton in 2016, but now almost definitely is going to be for Joe Biden. The state of Pennsylvania, Biden plus 5.6%, that's going to be a lean state. The state of Pennsylvania right now, Joe Biden is not doing as well as he was a week ago. He was up at 7%, I believe, or a little bit below that last time we took a look at it, around 6.8%. But this time around, things are not as positive for Joe Biden, but still, he is still leading in this state. Again, this is another state that Trump won in 2016 by 0.7%. So still, Biden has increased off of Clinton's margins from 2016. And at 50%, I do expect Joe Biden to carry the state of Pennsylvania, although I think it will be pretty close at this point in time. The state of Rhode Island, Biden plus 34.4%, so definitely going to be solid for the Democratic Party. The state of South Carolina, Trump is up 8.5%, a state that, again, Trump won with a solid margin in 2016, is now a likely state for the current president. And then following the state of South Carolina, we have to see the South Dakota. This is probably the biggest surprise for me on this map. South Dakota is not solid. In fact, it is a likely state for the current president, where Trump leads by 12.6%. So Donald Trump is doing better in Mississippi and Louisiana than he is in South Dakota. I just think that is very, very surprising. And the state of Tennessee, Trump only leads by 13.4%. So very similar between Tennessee and South Dakota. I think that these two states being likely states is a sign that Donald Trump has lost so much support. I mean, these are some of the most conservative states in the entire country, and I mean, they're not even solid for the candidate that they elected with a solid margin just 4 years ago. The state of Texas, Biden actually leads in the state by 0%. Yes, 0%. This is because, as you can see here, just say it's an even race, but Biden is in blue. So technically, Biden is still leading in the state, just the rounding makes it an even race. Biden, of course, is doing pretty well in these latest polls out of the state of Texas, ignoring all the SurveyMonkey polls. You see that Biden practically leads in almost all of the recent polls out of the state of Texas. So that is going to go to Joe Biden. I believe that after tomorrow it will go to Joe Biden, which is why I'm putting Texas into the Biden column, as 530 does tend to shift numbers around even when no new polls actually come out. They use their expert insight to do that instead of just taking a look at the polling averages. So Texas, 38 electoral votes. That's huge for Joe Biden. Following this, we have the state of Utah, where Trump leads by 10%. Still, Utah is not a solid state. It was solid just a couple months ago. Now it is a pretty close state. The state of Vermont, Biden plus 34.5%. That's going to be another solid Democratic state. That's pretty much as solid as you can get. The state of Virginia, Biden plus 11.3%. Another pretty solid state for Joe Biden, a state that Clinton barely won in 2016 by 5%. Now looking very good for Joe Biden. I mean, 2016, those northern Virginian counties were not looking too good for Clinton, but at the end, they came out further and she won this state, the home state of her running mate, Tim Kaine. The state of Washington, Biden plus 25.2%. That is another solid Democratic state. All the West Coast is solid for Joe Biden at this point in time. The state of West Virginia, Trump plus 22.9%. That's going to be a solid state. I mean, remember, at the beginning of this campaign, when we were taking a look at our earlier electoral maps, if you go back just a couple months ago, Trump was leading by 36% in the state of West Virginia. Right now, he's up 22.9%. That's around, a 13-point drop just from a couple months ago. The state of Wisconsin, Biden plus 6.7%. That's going to be another lean state for Joe Biden here in the Rust Belt. So as you can see, plus 6.7. Biden again is at 50%. I think he will win this state just because he's at 50% and he's doing pretty well in the latest polls out of the state of Wisconsin. So Joe Biden continues to lead in the Rust Belt. And finally, the state of Wyoming, no surprises here. It's going to go to President Trump with a solid margin, plus 36.9%, the most Republican state in the entire country. So what we see on this electoral map, we see that the South is becoming a little bit more solid for President Trump. He has definitely made gains since the last electoral map here in the southern region. Montana has gotten closer. Missouri has basically stayed the same. Alaska has been a little bit better for Trump. We see states like Ohio become a little bit stronger for the current president. However, Texas, for the first time in months, have crossed over to the Biden column. Iowa stronger for Biden. Georgia about the same. Florida, North Carolina, and Arizona have gone a little bit closer. I think that Trump has a better chance of winning these three states, but still Biden, I think, is favored in these three states. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, I think, have also gotten a little bit closer. This is all expected because Biden was at a very high point just a week ago, but these three states, I don't think it has improved enough or will improve enough for Trump to actually be able to flip these states back to his side. And then the state of Nevada, that is all right for Joe Biden at this point in time. So the electoral map hasn't really changed too much. We do see a few flips. That is the state of Texas. That's really the only notable flip on this electoral map, as well as the 2nd district of Maine, which was a Trump state on our last electoral map. And so yeah, that will be it for this video. Make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. The link is at the very top of the description below. In addition to that, make sure you consider joining my channel if you're interested in my channel memberships, gaining access to some pretty sweet perks, and they're just 99 cents per month, so make sure you check those out. Thank you guys all so much for watching this video. I will be updating my prediction tomorrow, so you can get, this is not a prediction, just to be clear, so you will be able to see my actual 2020 election prediction just tomorrow. And again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see all of you guys in the next video.